The secret knowledge of the Cathars. A forgotten flame. Imagine a fire that burns without smoke, a light that shines but casts no shadow. A flame carried by a hidden brotherhood, not to conquer, but to liberate. This was the light of the Cathars, a spiritual sect that rose in medieval France, defying both kings and popes with a truth so dangerous it had to be wiped from history. But what if that truth never died? What if the flame still flickers, waiting to be remembered? The Cathars believed the world we see is an illusion, a prison for the soul, crafted by a false god. They claimed to possess the key to escape, a sacred wisdom that could sever the chains of material existence. For this, they were hunted, slaughtered, and erased from the pages of history. Yet their teachings whisper to us still, hidden in plain sight. But what was this forbidden knowledge? And why did the most powerful forces of the time fear it so deeply? Let's step into the shadows of a forgotten past, where castles held secret initiations, where the purest souls welcomed death with open arms, and where the Cathars left behind a message meant for those who seek the truth. Are you ready to hear it? The origins and beliefs of the Cathars, a dual world. The Cathars did not see the world as most people do. To them, existence wasn't a gift, it was a trap. They believed in two opposing forces. A true, benevolent God, who created the realm of pure spirit, a place of light, peace, and eternal truth. And a false God, a dark impostor, who fashioned the material world, a realm of suffering, corruption, and illusion. This false God, they claimed, was the very being most people worshipped. They called him Rex Mundi, the king of the world. In Catholic doctrine, this figure echoes the devil, but the Cathars saw him not as a tempter, but as the architect of everything physical. Every stone, every tree, every drop of blood, all his work. And if the world was his creation, then human bodies were his prisons. The soul, they believed, was a shard of divine light, trapped within the flesh. Life itself wasn't a gift to be cherished but a trial, a test to awaken and return to the true God beyond the material veil. This was the great Cathar heresy, that the world, and everything in it, was fundamentally evil. Wealth, power, even the church itself, all part of Rex Mundi's grand illusion. It's no wonder the church declared them a threat. They weren't just preaching a different faith. They were challenging the very foundations of medieval society. But the Cathars didn't just believe in this cosmic struggle, they lived it. Their way of life was a radical rejection of the material world. They refused to eat meat, believing it trapped souls in endless reincarnation. They rejected marriage, viewing it as a contract that kept souls bound to the cycle of birth and suffering. They even denied the crucifix, arguing that the true Christ wasn't a man of flesh but a divine spirit who could never suffer or die. Their spiritual elite, known as the perfecti, were revered not for their status, but for their purity. These men and women lived in total humility, owning nothing, eating little, healing the sick, and preaching peace. They were living proof that the material world held no power over them. The perfecti practiced a sacred rite called the consolamentum, a spiritual baptism of fire, believed to purify the soul and sever its ties to the physical realm. Those who received it were said to transcend fear, pain, and even death itself. When the Catholic Church launched the Albigensian Crusade to eradicate the Cathars, many perfecti accepted martyrdom without flinching. As flames consumed them, they were said to smile, certain that their souls were finally free. But the Cathars' story doesn't end in fire and ash. Some say their deepest teachings were never lost. They were hidden, encoded, waiting for the right seekers to uncover them. What if you could understand those secrets? What if you could live as they did, unshackled from the illusions of this world? The hidden teachings and spiritual practices of the Cathars, the path to liberation. The Cathars didn't just believe the world was a prison, they claimed to know the way out. Their teachings weren't meant for idle speculation. They were a path, a secret blueprint to escape the material illusion and return to the true, eternal light. But this path wasn't easy. It required more than faith. It demanded a complete transformation of the soul. At the heart of their belief was the idea of gnosis, a direct, personal experience of divine truth. Unlike the Church, which taught that salvation came through priests and sacraments, the Cathars believed enlightenment could only come from within. They taught that every soul carried a spark of the true God, buried deep beneath layers of worldly corruption. To find it, one had to strip away everything false: wealth, desire, fear, even attachment to the body itself. For the Cathars, spiritual awakening wasn't about worshipping an external God. It was about remembering what you truly are, a being of light, trapped in flesh. The Perfecti served as living examples of this truth, walking reminders that freedom was possible, even in a world ruled by Rex Mundi. Their practices were designed to sever the soul's ties to the material realm. Fasting and abstinence weakened the body's hold over the spirit. Nonviolence severed the karmic chains of harm and suffering. Rejecting possessions freed the soul from the weight of worldly attachment. Meditation and prayer helped quiet the illusions of the mind, allowing the divine spark within to flicker to life. But the Cathars believed the ultimate key to liberation was the consolamentum, a final, sacred rite performed only once in a lifetime, often on one's deathbed. Unlike Catholic baptism, which washed away sin, the consolamentum was said to ignite the soul. It transformed an ordinary believer into a perfectus, someone so pure, so detached from the world, that even death could no longer bind them. Some accounts claim that those who received the consolamentum were no longer truly of this world. They were believed to radiate a profound calm, even in the face of torture and execution. It's said that when the fortress of Montségur, the last Cathar stronghold, fell in 1244, over 200 Perfecti walked willingly into the flames, chanting hymns as their bodies burned. They believed the fire couldn't touch what they truly were. But was this rite truly an ending, or a beginning? Some whisper that a handful of Perfecti escaped Montségur, carrying with them the Book of Love, a lost Cathar gospel said to contain their deepest secrets. Others believe they hid their wisdom in the very landscape of the Languedoc region, embedding messages in castles, caves, and even ancient stone carvings, waiting for those with eyes to see. Could it be that the Cathars' knowledge wasn't destroyed, only concealed? What if the consolamentum wasn't just a rite for the dying, but a map for the living? A path to walk now, in this very life, to awaken from the dream of the material world. The flame of the Cathars may have been smothered, but embers remain. And those who seek truth, not comfort, but truth, may yet find the spark to reignite it. The legacy and modern relevance of the Cathars' wisdom, a flame that won't die. The Catholic Church believed they had stamped out the Cathars, their bodies burned, their fortresses reduced to rubble, and their teachings buried. But ideas rooted in truth are not so easily destroyed. Like a flame hidden in the wind, the Cathars' wisdom flickered quietly through history, waiting for those brave enough to seek it. Centuries after Montségur fell, whispers of Cathar knowledge began to resurface, not as doctrine, but as a way of seeing the world. Their core belief, that the physical world is an illusion, and the true self is a divine spark trapped within, resonates across time and traditions. It mirrors the Gnostic Christians, the Hindu concept of Maya, the Buddhist idea of samsara, and even the Hermetic teaching that the all is mind, that reality itself is a projection of a higher truth. But why does this ancient heresy still speak to us today? Because we are still trapped in a world ruled by Rex Mundi. Look around, we're surrounded by a culture that glorifies wealth, power, and consumption. We're taught to define ourselves by what we own, how we look, and how much we achieve. The Cathars would say this is by design, a system built to keep us asleep, chasing shadows instead of seeking the light within. Their wisdom calls to those who feel the weight of this illusion, the restless souls who suspect that life has more to offer than what the world presents. It offers a path, not of indulgence, but of liberation, a way to unshackle ourselves from the false promises of the material world. So what lessons can we take from the Cathars' forbidden wisdom? Detached from material desires, the Cathars believed the world entices us with illusions, money, status, comfort, to keep us bound. True freedom comes from within. Ask yourself, what attachments are holding you prisoner? Seek inner truth, not external validation. The church demanded obedience. The Cathars demanded awakening. They believed no priest, no book, no authority could grant you salvation, only your own inner journey could. What beliefs or systems might you be trusting blindly, instead of exploring truth for yourself? Embrace spiritual purity. For the Cathars, purity wasn't about moral superiority, it was about burning away the layers of fear, greed, and hatred that obscure the soul's light. What parts of yourself feel heavy, false, or inauthentic? What would you have to let go of to become lighter, freer? Remember that death is not the end. The perfecti smiled as they walked into the flames because they believed they were returning home. To live without fear of death is to live fully, unshackled by the terror that keeps so many people small. What would you do differently if you truly believed death was just a doorway? The Cathars left no churches, no relics, no sacred texts, only ashes and a whispered legacy. Yet their truth endures, scattered like seeds across time, sprouting in the minds of those who question the world around them. Maybe you feel that pull, too, the sense that there's something more beneath the surface of this reality, something the world doesn't want you to find. The Cathars believed that those who seek the truth will find it. They believed that the light inside you is stronger than the darkness around you. The question is, do you believe it? The light beyond the flames. The Cathars may have been silenced, but their wisdom still hums beneath the surface of our world, like a distant echo waiting for those who can truly hear it. Their flame, though buried, still burns in the hearts of those who seek freedom from illusion. Perhaps that's why their story endures, not as a tragedy, but as a call to awaken. What if the Cathars were right? What if the world we see truly is a prison of shadows, and the key to escape has been hidden in plain sight all along? And if they were right, what other forbidden truths might still be out there, waiting to be uncovered? The Cathars' light was never meant to die. It was meant to hide, until the right souls, ready to see beyond the veil, found it again. Maybe that soul is you. The truth is never lost, it's only hidden, waiting for those brave enough to seek it. If you're ready to uncover more forgotten wisdom and unlock the secrets of the ancients, join us here at the Temple of Hidden Keys. Like, subscribe, and let the next key reveal itself.